Hello guys, so for this video I'll be talking about how our production uses conventions and how we choose to present it. So the question is, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent the social groups or issues? So firstly, our film is a horror, specifically paranormal films, which mean it follows the conventions of the horror genre. These were our initial ideas, which has helped us to further develop the genre and also help us to follow conventions of this genre. I believe that our primary inspiration is mainly from Thai horror movies and also Thai ghost radios. And I would say that Thai horror films are quite straightforward and it follows almost every convention of a horror film. So firstly, I would like to talk about the mise-en-scène of our film. I believe that what represents our film as a whole is the mise-en-scène. This is because mise-en-scène help us to identify specific needs and factors of our horror film. Our decision to set the film within a typical Thai school, complete with eerie hallways, and it creates a sense of foreboding, and it speaks to themes of discomfort and vulnerability. So the huge hollow hallways enhances the emptiness of this setting, but also represents the mind of the main character. For instance, our horror film takes place in a stereotypical Thai school where all the bad things can happen. And I believe that this represents how the students are also out of their comfort zone and out of their home zone, out of their safe space. And this shows that everything can possibly go wrong, especially when you're at school. And I would say that the biggest key factor is the setting that we chose for this film, because before even choosing our final place, we took a lot of things into considerations, such as the restrictions and benefits of the setting. And initially, we wanted an abandoned building as it is the best fit for this film. And however, we ended up with a Thai school that hadn't been renovated for a long time and looked quite old. It did not fit into our ideal type of abandoned school. However, since it's not been renovated, the old building, which is quite old and rusty, so we use establishing shot in the beginning, not to only show the audience where the film is set, but also to set the mood of the film for the audience. And I believe that establishing shot is very common uses in horror film. So like by carefully crafting these shots, we were able to immerse audience in the world of the film, and it heightens tension and enrich the thematic depth of narrative, and it also maximized the impact of their horror experience, which we're aiming for. Furthermore, our attention to detail extends to beyond the set design, encompassing costumes, makeup, and character development. And also I would like to add, without the ghost costume that we've made, audience wouldn't be able to tell that it's a ghost. And in the CCTV footage, and the makeup that we did on the character also really adds up to what the character is supposed to be. We also further developed the makeup by using blood and bruises on the ghost, where you would typically see in a horror movie. All of these mise-en-scène thing follows the convention of a horror movie. The uniform that they were wearing also suggests that they're still teenagers who are still attending school. And linking back to how they're not in their comfort zone, I would also say that the fact that the main character was willing to go into a building, especially an unfamiliar building that she's never been to, really shows that it represents the young minds and how curiosity spikes when you're teenagers. Lighting plays a huge role in representing the visual in horror film. We adjusted the camera lighting to more non-vibrant colors to ensure that we achieved the color schemes that we want, and we believe that the visual itself gives off an eerie atmosphere. We also followed a certain color scheme so that it doesn't disrupt the audience experience. However, something that would go against the convention would be that during the editing process, we color grade our color to be more of a warm tone instead of a cool tone. And the reason why we did this was because we want to show the juxtaposition between how the character is actually feeling and like the situation and how it juxtaposes from each other. Also, another thing that go against our convention is that the fact that we were shooting our film in the daylight, because usually horror movie they set at night and actions it takes place at night, and shooting in the daylight was quite challenging to achieve the outcome we wanted. And I would also say that our overall storyline follows the convention of horror, especially paranormal thrillers, and usually bad things happen to the innocent and helpless people, so that later on in the film the protagonist can solve the mystery. Moreover, our story is a linear structure, which makes the storytelling much clearer and represents the genre itself as a paranormal thriller. And again, like I said, this genre is very straightforward, and this linear narrative framework not only enhances clarity but also provides a platform resilience. Another element which I think follows the convention is the pace of our film, because the pacing of our film is really important, and we present the uses of different in pace by using different editing technique and camera work. So for instance, the pace at the beginning of the film is quite slow, and this is shown through the use of titles, which comes in slowly bit by bit through the establishing shot. And the establishing shots were also done by doing long takes, so then it takes longer to go from one scene to another, which also enhances the slow pace. All of these factors add up to the setting and the mood, along with the non-diegetic mystery sound. And in contrast, when it reaches its climax, the pace begins to quicken and more things starts to happen. We convey this by using fast cuts and different camera movements and angles. So for example, in the CCTV shot, the camera is held up high to show that it's a CCTV camera and that the ghost appears in the process of this. So the high angles shows the vulnerability of Pim while she's sleeping, and how she doesn't have control over the situation, and how the ghost is fully control over her now. And this aims to build like suspense and anticipation for the audience, so that things such as jump scares would be impactful later on in the film. And we also did put jump scare by the end of the film to enhance the suspense. Jump scares are used in almost every horror film, such as The Nun or mock documentaries like The Medium. For editing, we use different technique paces to enhance the scariness. For example, at the start of the movie, the pace would be more slow, which builds up on the anticipation for audience. And as the tension rises and reaches its peak, and like I said, the pace will be much quicker, unfolding events in the story. So jump cuts are also commonly used to depict confusion and discomfort. Moreover, we use to show an altered perception of reality through techniques like glitches or employing multiple jump cuts. And we do this to induce a sense of disorientation among viewers. Additionally, color grading is employed to convey mood and tone. And with paranormal horror, it often features a cool color grade. And it symbolizes fear and fostering a feeling of unease. And we utilize jump cuts in conjunction with glitch effect to depict a blurred boundary between the paranormal realm and reality. For sound, discordant tunes are employed to install a sense of disorientation within the narrative, and it heightens the overall tension. And typically, it is generated by synths which we use, and these discordant melodies are synchronized with shots by sound designers to enhance impactful moment for the audience. And it also enriched the film complexity by doing this. And we also use unsettling sounds, and it is achieved through instruments like waterphones or unique playing techniques, and they're very effective for paranormal films. And furthermore, effects such as reverb or delayed are utilized to deepen the atmospheric depth, while soft sound like whispers serves to like amplify the tension and suspense for the audience. We also use a diegetic sound, which is a dialogue just to give the audience some context in what is going on. But I think the main sound we used was the non-diegetic discordant sound, which was really effective overall. So in conclusion, I believe that our team followed the convention really well and also challenges some conventions. Like I said, like shooting in the daylight and the color grading part was also a little confusing if you're firstly watching. But overall, I think we followed these conventions more than challenging them, because without following these convention, I don't think our film would turn out the way we wanted to. And by following this convention, our goal is to make the audience identify and show them that our film is a horror paranormal film. And thank you so much for watching.